Hello, folks. This is Dr. Matt Moynihan from the Fusion Podcast and New Light Fusion Consulting. I wanted to take a minute to talk about what I see as the next stage of development for nuclear fusion technology. This year has been an exciting year with the results from NIF and the advocacy by the Fusion Industry Association, real close on a public-private partnership for fusion companies. There's also been additional funding and investment in fusion. There's a number of companies that got sort of seed rounds this year at HB11, Avalanche, Zap Energy. So there's a lot of developments in this space. Having been in this field 15 years now and working on a book, a popular science book for fusion, I have a unique perspective on the space. And I think we're at a critical point where superconducting magnets are entering this field. Now, the story so far, the last 10 years, in the private space at least, has been the implications of superconducting magnets on the tokamak concept. Essentially, Tokamak Energy and Commonwealth Fusion were both founded around that story, and they raised money around that idea. Superconductors can operate at higher temperatures, so like 70 Kelvin, so liquid nitrogen temperatures, which lower the cost. They can also generate much higher fields. So Tokamak Energy, ITER, and Spark are all shooting for the 10 to 13 Tesla field machine, which is very exciting. With a superconductor, they can run continuously, of course in theory, which means that the entire back end of the reactor has to be rejiggered from a pulsed power high energy machine to a continuously running fusion device. So that's a new kind of tokamak that we haven't ever really seen before. And all three devices, ST40 from Tokamak Energy, Spark from Commonwealth Fusion Systems, and ITER are kind of going to be hitting the market at the same time, all around that 2025 or sooner time frame. So that's really exciting. So there's a couple takeaway lessons from this. First of all, the superconductors could be applied to other concepts that have numerous advantages over tokamaks. A good example of this is CT Fusion's Dynomak from the University of Washington. The Dynomak is similar to a tokamak in the sense that it is a free-spinning donut, but it's a self-stabilized Cermak that's driven by helicity injection. So it kind of has a number of advantages. It reduces the total number of required magnets. It's more stable. It takes an instability and uses it as an advantage. And it can just be built for a lot less. So I often wonder what would happen if we took a superconductor that was developed for Tokamak Energy and applied it to an innovative plasma concept like CT Fusion's Dynomak or Zap Energy or the Princeton field reverse configuration or TAE's C2U machine. If you take a new advanced magnet with all the advantages I just spelled out and you add it to some innovative plasma concepts, you get a whole new class of fusion reactor that has a lot of exciting properties and can run continuously. So that's sort of the direction I think is going to play out. The narrative has been with superconductors added to tokamak systems. The new narrative is going to be superconducting magnets added to these other fusion concepts. I think that's going to be the next trend over the next 5 to 10 years in this space. Now, beyond this, there are a number of innovations beyond 10 to 13 Teslas that are interesting. The National High Magnetic Field Laboratory at Florida State University has had a 42 Tesla hybrid superconducting magnet since around 2000. So for 21 years, we've already had magnets that can reach the 40 Tesla range. And there's a number of innovations around those high field magnets that are sort of sitting on the bench at the national laboratories that could be moved into the commercial space. Now, some would say that that's currently what's happening with Tokamak Energy and Commonwealth fusion systems, that they are essentially picking up a lot of innovations that have kind of grown organically in the superconducting magnet space and sort of rolling them together into a commercial product. I think that there's more runway there. There's room above 10 Tesla to do more activities with fusion. There's also no commercial motivation to do that because there's no need in the commercial market for fields that are that high. And so I think that's the story that needs to play out. And I think the federal government needs to put money behind designing and building magnets of those strengths and rolling innovations that are already sort of on the shelf into more commercial products. So that's the direction I see fusion going. And it's really exciting when you consider that in a tokamak, the fusion rate scales as the magnetic field to the fourth power. Magnetic fields permeate most of the concepts that I've looked at. Mirrors, spheromax, even some, they play in pinches, tokamaks, stellorators, even plasma structures, all use some form of magnetic field to manipulate the plasma, either to self-structure it, control it, manipulate it, or drive it with fusion rates. So the magnets are critical technology for the entire fusion field, and they will drive most every fusion concept will use them in some way. When you look at what that means for fusion and what that means for climate change generally, that's the really exciting thing, because fusion as a power source has a huge potential to offset carbon in a variety of baseload applications. And getting to a fusion power plant would stave off the worst effects of climate change for human civilization. So superconductors are going to be an integral technology to the whole game, and I think that's where the federal government should be focusing its attention, getting those superconductors from the laboratory into the hands of some advanced fusion companies and concepts. Okay, everyone, take care.